Once again, back with another amazing episode of the Nerds Podcast. Today I have a lovely young lady, Carly Breckenridge. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
Oh, it's totally fine. It's Breckenridge, so
Breckenridge.
People don't understand.
That's cool. Now, my podcast, consists of, it's basically called a Nerds Podcast, and it consists of, movies, cartoons, comic books, video games, horror movies, basically pro wrestling, anything a nerd would like. You don't have to be a nerd to like it, but usually it's in the realm of being nerdum kind of things. So today I saw you on Facebook, and I found you on Facebook, and I thought you were a really cool person. So I thought I'd hit you up and just ask you about, your career or what you do, because I think you run or work in a haunted house or something like that?
Yes, sir. I've actually been a makeup artist at the Terror Manor Haunted House in Roanoke for about 3 years now. This is my third year doing it, and I've been doing makeup for about 6 years in total now, and it's just something that I've been continuously trying to work on and make a career out of.
Okay. How did you go about doing this? How does this all started?
Well, it started, my makeup interest kind of started when I was in high school, about 15, 16 years old, and a local haunted house popped up, and they just needed some extra helpers, and I just looked up some YouTube videos for, like, you know, basic Halloween cuts, like zombie bites or, you know, lacerations, stuff like that, and ever since then, I've just kind of been obsessed with it and just tried to, like, continuously learn any other makeup techniques I can. And, yeah, it's just brought me some really cool opportunities so far in life.
Yeah, that's all right. I like that. Now, I don't know too much about, you know, how a haunted house is ran or even, you know, what you do, because, like, the only haunted house I've ever been to, and it's like, it was a garbage haunted house. It was in Lynchburg, and basically was scare mare. It was absurd thing. It was more not a knock, but it was more a get people to basically come back to church. That's what it was. It was like their attempt to scare you back into church. It wasn't even really in a haunted house or something like that. So how did you? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a horrible time interrupting people. But yeah, I've heard of scare mare, and I've heard the same things from a bunch of other people. Yeah, I don't think scaring people into religion is the best way to go about getting the word out there, you know?
No, it's not as smart. It's kind of weak. But, like, in your haunted house, because I looked it up, I didn't realize how close I was to it, because I want to go check it out. But what is it like? What does your haunted house consist of? What is the setup and everything?
It's pretty awesome. I know there's not too many haunted houses like it. It is a rated R attraction. It's one of the few rated R attractions that, like, you can go to and expect something that's horror and not sexual, you know?
Okay.
So the owners, Rob and Scott, they're, like, super cool people. They've been really passionate about, like, scaring people in haunted houses for years. I think collectively they have, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years between them working at haunted houses and scaring people. It's like their own little nerdy thing. And they treat all of their actors and makeup artists pretty well. They provide a lot of, like, the supplies for us, and they've taught me how to, like, make masks and stuff like that. And, yeah, it's just been pretty cool. They, like, I'm trying to, like, think of good words. They're a built community. You know, like, it's a big community when you go into that building, and just a bunch of supportive people and really cool people to work with.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, in a way, I feel silly asking this question, but in a way, I guess, I mean, it's not silly. Do you have any influences in because you say you want to be a makeup artist and, you know, make this a full career or something like that. Do you have any people in the movies or anyone television, someone you see and you're like, this is what I want to be like?
See, that's a kind of particular question. Before Mikey kind of got, you know, Glam and Gore,
yeah,
she got canceled recently, and I used to really look up to her. I thought she had a lot of, like, really cool ideas, and just, like, it was a new face into, like, special effects, because she would show, like, how to make the costumes, how to make face molds, and really went into detail with her makeup. But right now I'm kind of idoless, if you want to say that. I watch a lot of, like, really cool makeup artists on TikTok that, like, just have some spectacular special effects, like putting stuffed animals on their faces, making themselves look like zombies. One woman, she paints herself to look like Vision. Like, it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's all right. I like that. That's pretty cool. Now, I've never been, in a long time, I've never been to any of the sci-fi conventions. The one that I went to years ago was in Lynchburg, and it had, like, a little small community of sci-fi people. Is any communities like that in Roanoke?
Yeah, actually. Of course, with COVID, things got canceled. But there's two big conventions that people go to. It's the Star City Anime Con and then Big Wick Comic Con. And they're both ran by separate people, but that's a huge community there. The Big Wick one is more like DC, Marvel, Dark Horse Comics.
Okay.
And then the start of the anime one is anime, you know.
Okay. Do you? I mean, you can't do it now, but I mean, previous to that, did you ever get a chance to attend any of them? And what was it like if you did?
Yeah, I attend all of them whenever I can. And at the Star City one, they have like cosplay contests where you get to choose a character. And I won probably 2 of those contests and got free badges to come back the next years and just like build my fan base, if you want to say that, over the years like that.
Yeah, you can say that. Now, well, I saw one of your makeup art things you did, and I thought it was amazing. I said, man, this looks awesome. And
thank you.
And it's like, I would go on YouTube and like I don't know how to like do makeup or anything like that. But if I could do it, I would always wanted to do one that's like I don't know. You probably don't know who Goldust or Stardust from WWE is, do you?
No, I don't watch any like wrestling stuff.
It's all good, but think of if Ziggy Stardust was a wrestler. That's what he would be. You know, Ziggy. That's what it'd be. If David Bowie, the '70s version when he was Ziggy Stardust, just think of that. And I thought that would be the coolest, basically, makeup to put on. And I was going to do it during we used to have this thing called the Monster Run, and I was going to wear all black spandex, and I was going to basically put on the Stardust makeup, and I was going to be in there, but I didn't know how to put makeup on, so.
Oh, I'm sure you would have looked amazing.
I might have looked pretty cool. Probably would scare someone to death, though, but yeah, I probably wouldn't look cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a zombie run that happens in Lexington, not too far from here, and those always turn out pretty cool. You know, dressing up as a zombie, chasing people down the street. It's insane.
That is the coolest thing. Would you say will you consider yourself goth or anything like that? Would you consider yourself that if you would?
I would consider myself more like I guess like emo punk with like a little bit of goth thrown in. Okay. I definitely have my own style. That's cool. What my friends say.
Oh, that's cool. It's good to have your own identity, and it's hard to do that when it's like a lot of times if you get dolled up or something like that, people automatically think you're a part of one genre, even though you're probably not. It's like it's cool to have your own identity, having it's always cool to have it there. So I like that though. But
yeah, in high school, when they would have like themed days, I would always have something in my closet for like whatever theme. It was like blackout theme, goth theme, camo theme. I'm in the country, so there's always a camo day. But I always have something in my closet for whatever occasion.
I give you props for that because a lot of people, it's hard to, in school is the hardest to be, to stand out. Everyone wants to wear the same thing because no one wants to be on the forefront because you don't know how people, kids are just pricks anyway. I mean, it's natural to be a jerk, but to stand out, I give everyone props to be your own person because that takes you a long ways up to an adulthood. That's always good if you can do that. It's hard to, but it's always good if you can.
I know it is really hard. I have a niece who's turning 12 this month, and kids are rude, man. They're so mean and ruthless.
Yeah.
I've heard some bullying stories from her. I just want to go over to her middle school and fight some 12-year-olds.
Yeah. Middle school boys are the most special of the young men throughout school. They're the most special because you're a little boy, but you think you're an adult, but you lack any of the maturity to actually have a normal conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, man. Kids have a very active imagination. So, I know about that. I'll try and sit and have a conversation with my niece, and it'll just veer off into this like huge imaginary world, which I love that she's been able to keep up into her 12 early teen years. I love her imagination, but like I just know that like sometimes those conversations don't really go over well in school settings and stuff like that. Kids want to start maturing, not being so quote unquote abnormal.
All right, that's cool.
I'm explaining myself good.
It's all good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it because I'm not that articulate myself a lot of times. I try not to ramble, but it's hard not to at times. But no, it's all good because this is supposed to be a regular conversation, so it's not. There's no set, rules and like that. Because to let you know, I haven't been doing this very long. I've been doing this for maybe 6 months, and I started out. My first episodes are just garbage. I'm not hating on them, but it's just, I wanted to be better, so I'm going to be critical of anything I do. So, I don't feel bad. So I'm always grateful when anyone comes on my show, my little podcast, and let me interview or talk to them or anything. I'm always grateful. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that you reached out to me. I'm definitely going to be promoting this podcast all over my social media. This is really cool of you to start up something that you're passionate about.
I appreciate it. Now, what kind of genre of music do you enjoy mostly? What do you like to jam to?
Oh gosh, that is a heavy question. I listen to everything except for country music.
Yeah, it's all good.
Right now, I'm really into Rico Nasty and Ashley. Those are two artists that I'm constantly playing in the house. Mm-hmm. But I'll play Paramore and All Time Low and In This Moment, Hollywood Undead, just all over the place. Some Beyonce during the summer.
It's all good. You need to me. You need a wide variety of music to listen to, and it's I listen to metal, I listen to a little hip hop, I listen to rock, I listen to jazz, I listen to classical and stuff like that. But what made me want to do that is when I used to listen to bands' interviews. I'll give you an example. I always give an example now. Is Tom Morello from Slayer. In an interview in Metal Maniacs, he said he listened to Peter Gabriel and African drums. You would never know that from his music because that does not match his music. But why should it though?
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't watched any band interviews probably since, that Patrick Star guy who did the Warped Tour interviews, back in the day.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've watched any band interviews, but that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a shame, MTV is corny anyway. But at one time, I think it's MTV. Yeah, MTV or is it VH1? I'm saying MTV. MTV had Headbangers Ball, and it was Jamie Joster from Hatebreed, and he was probably one of the greatest VJs in my opinion of all time because he was in a band and he knew how to ask the right questions to bands. You knew his perspective comes from a place of knowledge and not of silliness. So I thought he was a genius. And then there was one on VH1 called That Metal Show, and That Metal Show had John. I think it's something Florentine. I forget his first name. He's a comedian. There's two comedians and the guy who would run basically the show. He was actually a DJ, Eddie Trunk, and that was a genius show. It was amazing. They had so many amazing bands, and they asked so many amazing questions to you knew it wasn't going to last, and they weren't getting paid nothing on that show. It don't matter. I ain't got nothing to do with it, but they did a phenomenal job. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard of that show, Metalheads, you said. I heard of it, but I don't watch a lot of TV. I really should watch more media just so I can stay up to date with everything and have conversation.
Oh yeah, but I'm a person who's not educated enough on any of those things because it's hard to stay focused on because I watch a lot. Well, I'm embarrassed to say I watch a lot of television, probably more than I should. But I don't feel bad because right now I went back to watching Buffy, the old series with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and that show is that show was awesome.
Yeah, my sister, she watched that in high school, and she had, like, Buffy t-shirts and, like, obsessed with Buffy. I remember her watching it when I was growing up. She's about 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I never really got into it, but she loved it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any movies or any genre of movies, anything you enjoy watching, like, these days, you'll go back and, like, it's a good movie, I like this?
I know Scott Pilgrim is like an incel, but I keep going back to Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That is the coolest movie.
Like it's just such a fun movie to watch. Like, you know, if you don't take it as seriously, some people take it. Like, it's just a really fun, like, visually interesting movie, and I watch it probably like once every 2 weeks, if I'm being honest. Like, it's probably one of my favorite movies.
I like that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool because I got that on Blu-ray right now. I mean, I don't really watch it because I just streamline a lot of stuff. But that is one of the coolest movies. It's insanely ridiculous, but it's ridiculous in a good way. Not ridiculous like corny, but like, man, this is the movie right here. I like you got good taste. I like that. Do you have any other ones? Do you like throughout the playlist of repeating movies, whatnot?
Well, I know about Scott Pilgrim, and the other movies that, like, I'll probably sit and rewatch a lot are, like, animated movies, like Shrek. I love all the Shrek movies.
Okay, that's
Hotel
cool.
Transylvania, those are pretty good movies that I'll sit and rewatch, too.
They're pretty good. They are. I like the...
Yeah, especially, like, every time, like, you watch one of those movies with all those giant, vast background characters, you always notice, like, one more thing, or like a little minute detail of like a character they have, and just in the background. So I just really appreciate like the animation, the detail that they go into with these movies.
They do a lot, and like it's weird. I'm not saying because I watched the first Shrek movie, and I haven't watched. I mean, eventually I'll go back and watch them. It's not like I'm about watching them. I just haven't went back. But it's weird. If you ever watch the first Shrek, it's a lot of adult humor in there that they really get by. I'm amazed they get that away with that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of these, like, animated films, like, you would be surprised how many times you can rewatch it and, like, see a joke about something that kids shouldn't really be, like, listening to. I'm not sure, like, what kind of language you're allowed in the podcast, but I'm sure we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not offended. It's not, we're all adults. I'm not offended. But, like, you know, it's weird because, like, you go back in earlier days in animation, they had a lot of time on their hands. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example of something that I'd never noticed. As many times as I watched Little Mermaid, and they might have digited it out, but over the years, for the longest time, if you get the VHF copy, they're golden penises on the front of the box.
Yeah, I've seen those pictures rolling around the internet, you know, with like the big old red circles. Look at what they did to our kids. It's subliminal messaging.
But the thing about it, the kids are so innocent. We don't register. I mean, there's many things I watched as a kid that I never got the joke, and I'm embarrassed as an adult. I didn't pick up until as an adult. It's like, I can't believe I didn't, because I'll give you another example. It's not an animated movie, but it's a movie called Weird Science. And in the movie Weird Science is these two kids basically made a computerized woman so they can, like, I guess be cooler, I don't know. If that movie came out now, there'd be a whole lot of picket signs. They'd be highly upset because it deals with, you know, young boys fantasize about a grown woman. But there's a scene in the movie where the grown woman goes to his parents' house and they're getting in an argument, and the woman says, "You don't treat your son right. Do you know your son is in the bathroom tossing off the magazines?" I did not get that humor. I didn't know that tossing off meant basically masturbation. I did not get it. And my cousin was laughing. I say, "What do you mean? Was he playing dice or something? What do you mean tossing off?" And then until I became a grown man, I realized, like, that's not right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, man, these kid movies, they're insane. I'm sure you know, like, who Drew Gooden and, like, Danny Gonzalez is, like, those two guys.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one did it, but there is a movie review that they reviewed, and, like, there was a grown woman, in the very end credits, she comes and like gives like a little 8-10-year-old boy a big old kiss on the mouth. And
Yep.
even me watching it, like them reviewing the YouTube, my mouth was agape. Like, no, I cannot believe they allowed this. How could they allow this? Imagine if those roles were reversed and it was an old man and a young girl. That would have never made the film.
Yeah. A lot of the 80s movies are that way. And like, because I'm a lot older than you. I mean, I'm sure you're like in your 20s, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be 23 this year.
See, when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, a lot of movies were get away with a lot of humor that a lot of people didn't even register. Like, if the movies came out that I was a kid, they'd be on CNN and they'd be sitting there with psychiatrists analyzing why this was appropriate. Like, do you know the movie called Beetlejuice?
Oh, yes, I love Beetlejuice.
Do you ever sit there and watch the movie and how flippant, I shouldn't say flippant, you know what, I'm going to stick with that, how flippant the use of suicide is in that movie. They joke about suicide through the entire movie, and it's a comedy.
Oh, yeah.
If that movie came out to...
In the musical, too, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
And in the TV show, he's like trying to get with like a 16-year-old girl, and he's like a billion-year-old dead guy.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of like weird things.
Sketchy things. There's a lot of sketchy things in those movies and whatnot. I mean, 16 Candles is a good version. I mean, there's creepiness. I mean, 16 Candles, there's a scene in 16 Candles where Molly Ringwald is turning 16, and her grandparents are talking about her going through puberty and looking at her chest. Wow, her boobs are growing in. Like, wow, who would say that? What? Like, what? Like you're talking about her boobs growing in.
If my grandparents ever said that, I would be mortified.
That's a weird thing to talk to your granddaughter and say, hey, wow, your boobs growing in. Granddad, why are we talking about my chest? Do I need to call someone? Because you clearly got some issues. That's what I'm saying. Like, not so much now, because more now they're more sensitive and they're not going to get away. But if you go back, like if you have if you don't have nothing to do one day, if you have Amazon Prime or any streaming channels, just go and look at some 80s movies. You're going to be horrified to see how much humor get away with, because, man, some of those movies are very pervy compared to now.
Right? Oh, gosh. I could probably, if we sat there and thought about it, we could probably name just hundreds and hundreds of things we've seen all over social media, like the TV shows and movies they let us watch as kids.
Oh, wow. They're and that's a different era that and either they didn't know or no one was registering. Now, what did you watch as a kid? Because we're different generations. What was the things you watched as a kid? Do you remember anything?
I watched a lot of Invader Zim, Jenny Teenage Robot, early SpongeBob. Some of these new episodes are just insane, but the early SpongeBob episodes I'm in love with. Let's see, what else? I mean, like my adult life too. I've continued to watch cartoons. So Adventure Time, Steven Universe, those kinds of cartoons. Like this, I really like them. They're very visually pleasing.
Okay, that's cool.
You know.
That's pretty cool. Now, I don't really have anything else, but I want to thank you for letting me do this. But I'm glad you just let me talk to you for a little bit. Do you have any things you want to promote or get out there?
Other than just I am a makeup artist in Roanoke, Virginia. You can find me on Facebook with Carly Breckenridge. And other than that, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for interviewing me. And if you happen to make it to Terra Manor, please message me on Facebook. I would love to at least try and shake your hand or something. We're open next weekend.
That would be awesome. If I one day I hope I get a chance to come up there, and I'm gonna hit you up at least to meet you in person. That'd be cool as I know what.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. When I see you on Facebook, but put a physical face to the name.
That's always cool. Once again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're awesome. I appreciate this.
Thank you. you so much. I hope you have a great day, and I hope the podcast turns out well. I can't wait to hear it and everything after you're done reading it and listening to it.
All right, awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right. See ya. Thank you so much, Carly Breckenridge. Even though you just pronounced your name to me, I probably pronounced it wrong again, but still thank you for allowing me to do this podcast. And once again, I hope we'll get to meet up at some point soon, and we'll get to, at least, talk in person. But once again, I'm going to sign out with this podcast, and hopefully soon I'm going to have another one in the next, in a minute, because Sepsis is supposed to come on, and I get to talk to this lovely young lady from the band. So once again, I'm just going to sign out. See ya.